Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mags. So I hope you're all staying safe and well out there. And of course, I come at you again today to talk about Newcastle United news. Now, we're going to talk about, of course, Darren Eales, who was on Total Sport on a special for BBC Radio Newcastle last night. It was, of course, 7 o'clock on BBC Radio Newcastle. You can go re-listen to it on BBC Sounds. Of course, it's up for the next 30 days, I believe it is. And then they do take it down. But we're going to talk about a few little things that Darren Eales said in, of course, the appearance on BBC Radio Newcastle's Total Sport. And of course, he was talking to the lads over there about the future of Newcastle United. He was talking about a number of different things on, of course, the show. He was talking about commercial revenue for Newcastle moving forward. He was talking about, of course, where they want the team to be competing, of course, in the years to come. And, of course, he was also talking about naming rights as well for St James's Park, which has always been a subject that has to be lightly travelled on, and for good reason as well, because St James's Park is more than just a name for the stadium. It is our identity here in the North East, and of course, the previous owner really did go down a bad path when he renamed the stadium under his ownership. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Darren Eales said in, of course, that appearance on Total Sport. So starting off, of course, one of the things that he said is we want Newcastle United to be competing for trophies and be in the top 6 consistently, and be up there in Europe. If we can find a path that gets us there the quickest way possible, then we're going to bring everyone on the journey. And of course, just again, seeing what the owners said when they first bought the club, back on the 7th of October of last year. Of course, and that is something that is nice to see. Consistency from the owners, consistency from Darren Eales, who wasn't even at the club when the owners came in. He didn't come in with the owners. He came in eventually down the line, just like Dan Ashworth. But it's great to see that everybody who has been appointed at the club moving forward, in the backroom staff, at the hierarchy of the club, they're all following the same plan. Everybody's on the same, direction, the same trajectory, which is nice to see. That's something that we didn't get under the previous ownership. It was all higgledy-piggledy. It was all over the place, but these owners know what they're doing. They've got the right plan. They've got a trajectory that they want Newcastle United to be on. And at this moment in time, we're currently sitting 6th in the Premier League. So we're right in line with what Darren Eales was saying on last night's Total Sport programme on BBC Radio Newcastle, of course. So we're right in line with that trajectory that, Darren Eales was talking about. And if we can keep that going, then come, January, if we're still in that position inside that top 6, then, PIF are definitely going to go out there. They're definitely going to spend, big money. That's what they're saying, with Darren Eales' comment there. He's saying if, we can find a path that gets us there the quickest way possible, then we're going to bring everyone on the ride. That right there is cementing, if we are in that place, inside the top 6, come January, then there will be massive amount of money spent, but there's going to need to be commercial revenue brought in to also see us spend a massive amount in the window as well. We haven't even started to even touch the tippy top of the financial fair play leeway that we have at the moment, after the few windows that we've had under these new owners, and there's been some fantastic purchases in them windows. Just to name a few, Sven Botman, Alexander Isak, obviously Kieran Trippier, who started the entire, new era under these owners off, as he was the first signing to come in under the brand new owners. So, you know, that was a fantastic acquisition to be bringing in from the get-go. In England international, somebody who, you know, has played at the highest level of the game possible and is performing consistently as well at that level, even despite, you know, that he is to the latter end of his career now. But moving on to another piece, of course, to continue on the talk about commercial revenue, Darren Eales also said, for us, it's about talking with our supporters and being open by saying, look, we all want to get to this place, and to get to this place, we need to bring in commercial revenues. Now, of course, he continued on after that to say the club are likely to explore Saudi sponsors linked to majority owners PIF, as he admits their lofty ambition of challenging for the Premier League and European honours depends on boosting commercial revenue. It is an absolute must that we boost this commercial revenue. This is the way, you know, for us to be able to flex our financial muscle in the transfer market. Yes, we've got unlimited funds. Yes, we could go out there and buy whoever we want. But the FFP is the only thing stopping us from being able to go out there and buy who we want, because we don't have enough commercial revenue coming in. We don't have the level of commercial revenue that you see at the likes of Manchester City. You know, even Arsenal's got a really good commercial revenue as well. And that is because we were under a absolutely disgusting owner for 15 years. We were under that owner, and all he wanted to do was use Newcastle United as his own advertising property. And of course, that meant that we weren't seeing any money coming in the form of commercial revenue from sponsorships, you know, and even the ones that we were seeing coming in sponsorships, like the Funny 8 shirt sponsor, they were nowhere near the level of what Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, you know, Man United, what have you, were getting for their commercial revenues. They weren't even near the level of what some championship clubs were getting for commercial revenue for shirt sponsors. So that just shows you, you know, what kind of owner he was. Obviously, we all know what kind of owner he was. But this is something that needs to be rectified. The owners know that, you know, that this needs to be rectified. Darren Eales knows that this needs to be rectified. And that is why they've went out there and they are going to appoint Peter Silverstone. Now, this guy is a very, very amazing, you know, commercial officer. He's going to come in as the chief commercial officer for Newcastle United. If you know football, then you will know that Peter Silverstone was the guy responsible for, you know, bringing in the commercial revenue that he has done for Arsenal, of course, and he was the guy responsible for getting Arsenal the Amazon series All or Nothing, which is something that Amazon have been trying to pursue with Newcastle United. And of course, the Saudis are willing to go down that avenue, but they want assurances that there will be no anti-Saudi angle from Amazon on that All or Nothing series. I don't think there would be any anti-Saudi references in there from Amazon, being that, of course, Amazon's owner is Jeff Bezos. He is a Newcastle United fan, as you know, most people will know. You know, Jeff Bezos is a Newcastle United fan. Of course, Elon Musk is also a Newcastle United fan. Obviously, nothing to do with Amazon, but just putting it out there that Elon Musk also is a Newcastle United fan. So, you know, this is something that is definitely going to be pursued, I think, down the line. But there is also, you know, just rumours at the time being, from what I've heard from a couple of different people, of course, is that we could be seeing Disney as a main shirt sponsor, you know, as an example. That would be absolutely amazing if we got somebody like that to be on the front of the shirts. You know, there's also talk that they could be the one who could be getting the naming rights for St James's Park as well. So this is again, something, like I say, we do have to tread very carefully with. Obviously, as us Newcastle United fans have a lot of, love for the name St James's Park. Like I say, it's not just a name, it's more the identity of the club, being that St James's Park is a very historic club, a very iconic, stadium in English football and in world football as well. It's obviously one of the oldest stadiums as well, with Old Trafford being the second oldest, behind St James's Park, of course, because St James's Park was around before Old Trafford was even thought of. So that shows you just how old, St James's Park is. This is a ground, that Newcastle United moved into in 1882. It was. And of course, this is something that is definitely needed to be treaded very carefully on, to be honest. And there's quite a few different outlets, media outlets, talking about the naming rights. Of course, the Sun are talking about it, Daily Mirror are talking about it as well. Even the Chronicle have had a say on it as well. Craig Hope's had a say on it. Everybody's talking about it because it's a subject, that needs to be looked into. Obviously, this is something that is an area that we really could benefit hugely from naming rights. Now, a lot of people might say, no, keep it St James's Park, but in my personal opinion, if it means that we get a boost commercial revenue and boost that FFP even more to be able to spend more money on the players out there on the pitch, on the club, to benefit the club moving forward, then I'm all for it. Obviously, as if it's done tastefully, like we've seen, for example, with the Nou Camp, where Barcelona's had a sponsorship deal signed with Spotify, where it of course is now named Nou Camp powered by Spotify. Now, if we're seeing a similar situation to that, where it's St James's powered by Disney, for example, then that would be a tasteful, naming rights sponsor in my eyes, because you're still having St James's Park in there. We're just adding on the end, powered by, and then whoever the company is. Like I say, for example, if it was Disney, then it would be St James's Park powered by Disney, or St James's Park powered by, Saudi Air, what have you. So that could be one avenue that we could travel down. Obviously, the naming rights are going to be something that we do have to tread very carefully on. The owners will have to tread very carefully on, because, like I say, St James's Park is more than a name. It is the identity of our area. It's the identity, of Newcastle United. I couldn't think of Newcastle playing at any other stadium other than St James's Park, to be honest. So it is a part of our identity as Newcastle United. But moving away from that, of course, we have seen a few other people talking about some different things as well. But before we get into talk about some transfer news, which has been circulating around from a couple of journalists, I do want to say congratulations to Bruno Guimaraes for getting a Team of the Week card on FIFA 23. Obviously, he played absolutely fantastic in the game just gone, and well deserved to get that Team of the Week card. We're seeing, previous before Bruno getting this card, that Miguel Almiron played absolutely amazing in the game for that week. And Almiron didn't get a card on the FIFA for the Team of the Week, but this week we've seen Bruno Guimaraes get a card. It's a pretty decent card as well, as you can see. He's got an 84 overall, and he's got some pretty good stats on there as well. 73 pace, 71 shoot, 82 pass on it as well, and 84 dribble, 80 defense, and 81 physical. So a pretty decent card. You know, Bruno Guimaraes was pretty happy with it as well. As you might have seen from the clip circulating around on Twitter from Premier League Uncut, of course, where he was celebrating getting the card. And also there was a little bit of, you know, sportsmanship, a little bit of camaraderie between Trippier and Bruno, of course, as in that clip. We see that Bruno is wearing the number 2 training kit for Newcastle United, and of course, Trippier couldn't help but put out a tweet saying, "Why are you wearing my shirt, bro?" With, of course, Bruno just replying back, "I'm your fan, bro, and I didn't find mine," and having a bit of a laugh at him, of course, wearing Kieran Trippier's shirt in the video. Of course, we did see as well the Premier League put out a poll last night with who is the Premier League's most informed Brazilian, and this is something, you know, that wasn't in Bruno Guimaraes' favour for some reason. Obviously, Arsenal fans love to block vote, as we know, and Gabriel Martinelli was put in on the poll with other as well as Bruno. And of course, Martinelli was winning on the poll, but Newcastle fans, of course, and of course, Toon Pools, who is very active on Twitter for Newcastle polls, of course, decided, you know, to push out as many tweets as possible to get Bruno to win the poll, and he won the poll last night, of course, with it ending 49 to Bruno, 49% to Bruno, and 45% to Gabriel Martinelli as well. So yet again, a massive turnaround on a poll, and of course, Toon Polls doing it once again. So well done to Toon Polls, well done everybody last night as well. I also played a part in, you know, putting out some tweets as well. Steve Rafe did, and quite a few other Newcastle fans did as well, you know, to get that poll in Bruno Guimaraes' favour. So congratulations to Bruno Guimaraes for winning that poll last night. I know it doesn't really mean much, but at the end of the day, you know, it is about pride in Newcastle United. It's about pride in Bruno Guimaraes as well. And, you know, we can't be having Arsenal winning a poll over Bruno Guimaraes, you know, at the end of the day. Quite a few Arsenal fans weren't so happy about it at the end of the day, that they lost out. But like I say, you know, the right man won at the end of the day. Bruno Guimaraes is the most informed Brazilian in the Premier League. He's the best midfielder in the Premier League in my eyes. I know I'm biased, obviously, with being a Newcastle fan, but, you know, it is what it is. And like I say, you know, there's quite a few different people talking about the St James's Park naming rights. It is going to be a subject that is going to be talked about quite a bit. And of course, before we finish off the video, I will talk about some transfer news like I did say I would. And of course, Newcastle are confident that they can strike a deal for Vasco da Gama's ANDREY Santos. And of course, have also taken a liking to his teammate as well, who has burst into the first team this season, in Vasco da Gama. Vasco da Gama, sorry. And of course, I can't pronounce that guy's name, so I'm not even going to bother. Iguendelo, I believe he's pronounced. Sorry if I butchered that, but I really can't pronounce that guy's name of his teammate. But we are looking at bringing in them two players, two absolutely fantastic players. I've seen some clips of them and they look absolutely amazing. Also, we are looking at as well Erling Haaland's cousin, who is at this moment in time banging in goals in the Norwegian league as well. So, you know, it's going to be a bright future for Newcastle United if we can sign these young up-and-coming players. It's going to be absolutely amazing to see where we'll go from here. But, you know, there's going to be a lot to talk about in the years ahead. So keep an eye out for the videos on the channel. Also keep an eye out for the preview coming up on the channel as well for the game against Manchester United, of course, this weekend, which is down at Old Trafford. I can't wait for that game. Hopefully, you know, we can come away from that game with 3 points in the bag. I've got all the confidence in the lads that we can do it as well. With the way we've been playing in the last 2 games, it will be amazing to roll into Old Trafford against Mania and come out on top with a pretty amazing win. Also, just want to add in there that Callum Wilson, of course, has signed a new contract in Newcastle United. It's a 2-year contract plus option to extend further based on, of course, various factors. That is a fantastic deal when you consider, you know, what Callum Wilson can bring to the club. Until next time, remember to hit that like, share, subscribe, 200% marks, and I'll see you all next time. However, lads.